Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
WWE Raw tonight on Netflix will be the aftermath episode of the Red Brand following Night of Champions 2025. The premium live event in Saudi Arabia witnessed many ups and downs, as well as title changes. Raw After Knock is set to take place at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In this article, we will discuss 5 things that could happen on Monday Night Raw this week. 5. Adam Pearce might suspend Cena for laying hands on Charles Robinson. After WWE Night of Champions, John Cena remains the undisputed WWE Champion. The franchise player overcame all odds and defeated CM Punk, while also managing to escape from a Seth Rollins maybe cash-in attempt. However, in this process, Cena attacked WWE official Charles Robinson to prevent Rollins' machinations. Though the Cenation leader was able to save his title, his action might have repercussions. The Raw general manager, Adam Pearce, might suspend the last real champion for attacking an official figure. Cena has been advertised to appear on the July 18, 2025, episode of SmackDown Next. This angle could help WWE to write him off television in the intervening period. 4. Roman Reigns takes out Seth Rollins' faction after teasing joining them. Seth Rollins' villainous faction continues to dominate the Red Brand. Roman Reigns' name was chanted at Night of Champions, but the OTC didn't make his return. According to the latest reports, the return of the head of the table is expected to take place soon, ahead of SummerSlam 2025. Reigns might probably return on tonight's Raw in a segment with the Visionary. Here, Roman might initially pretend to be on the side of Seth by having a reunion with his former Shield member. However, later in the night, the OTC can exhibit his true colors and take out the entire faction. This will set the stage for SummerSlam 2025 for a feud between the ex-Shield members. 3. Pat McAfee returns to commentary on WWE Raw. Over the past few weeks, Pat McAfee has been missing from the commentary table. The 38-year-old star disclosed that he was feeling pretty exhausted, which forced him to take time off from WWE television. Meanwhile, on Raw this week, McAfee might decide 3 weeks was a long enough break and return to commentary duties, reuniting with Michael Cole. This gains credence, especially as he'd noted on his show that he felt the gap between Money in the Bank and Night of Champions PLE was a good time to take a break. 2. Roxanne Perez might get crowned as one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. Due to Liv Morgan's injury, Raquel Rodriguez is the sole title holder of the Women's Tag Team Championship. There are already reports of Roxanne Perez replacing Morgan in the storyline and joining hands with the Judgment Day. This raises the possibility of Perez becoming the new Women's Tag Team Champion on the Red Brand. This scenario could unfold when Finn Balor convinces Raquel to hand over the title to Roxanne. The alternate option, if she doesn't do the same, could be relinquishing the gold. Considering this, Rodriguez might hand the title to the 23-year-old star, making her one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. 1. Asuka turns heel to set up a major feud. Asuka failed to defeat Jade Cargill in the Queen of the Ring tournament final at Night of Champions 2025. Despite the loss, the Empress of Tomorrow is still expected to clash against Io Sky at WWE SummerSlam 2025. To plant seeds for this bout, fans could witness Asuka's heel turn on Raw tonight. This later leads to the former Damage Control member attacking the Genius of the Sky to set the stage for a title match at the biggest party of the summer. The air inside the WWE Raw arena was thick with tension as General Manager Adam Pearce stepped into the ring, microphone in hand, his expression a mix of disappointment and steely resolve. For weeks, the WWE Universe had watched one particular superstar push boundaries, break rules, and ignite chaos backstage and on live TV. Pearce had warned him. Find him. But nothing had changed, and tonight, Pearce was done playing nice. Meanwhile, somewhere deep in the bowels of the arena, a camera caught a glimpse of a black SUV rolling into the backstage parking lot. The entire WWE Universe, glued to their screens, could only gasp, because stepping out of that SUV was none other than Roman Reigns. But what made the moment even more electric was the man standing beside him, Seth Rollins, his brother-in-arms from the Shield. For months, Roman Reigns had vanished from WWE programming. After losing the Undisputed Championship in controversial fashion, the Tribal Chief disappeared, leaving Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, and a new bloodline to run rampant in his absence. Rumors swirled that Reigns was healing injuries, plotting revenge, or even walking away for good. But tonight, Any questions about his future vanished as he walked side by side with Rollins, unified by something, or someone, that had pushed them both over the edge. Back in the ring, Adam Pearce's voice thundered through the arena. "Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't come out here tonight to mince words. I didn't come out here to negotiate. I came out here to deliver consequences." The crowd buzzed with speculation. Who was he talking about? For weeks, this man has disregarded the rules of this brand. He's blindsided opponents, threatened officials, and taken it upon himself to rewrite how this business is run. That stops tonight. Pearce turned toward the stage. "Solo Sikoa, get out here. Right now." The arena lights dimmed as Solo's haunting entrance music hit. The enforcer of the bloodline stalked down the ramp, the newly minted United States Championship gleaming on his shoulder, a smirk plastered across his face. He didn't care about fines. He didn't care about Adam Pearce's threats. To Solo, the ring was his island, and he was the law. Pearce didn't flinch. "Solo, you've left me no choice. Effective immediately, you're suspended indefinitely." The crowd erupted, half in cheers, half in stunned silence. Solo stepped closer to Pearce, towering over him, eyes narrowed. For a moment, it looked like he might strike the GM right there. And then, chaos. Roman Reigns' music hit. The crowd exploded as the tribal chief emerged through the curtain, Seth Rollins right behind him, both dressed in street clothes but radiating purpose. Solo turned toward the ramp, his smirk fading into something darker. Reigns walked slowly, eyes locked on Solo, Rollins flanking him like the old days. When they finally reached the ring, the tension was so thick you could feel it crackle in the air. Pearce wisely stepped back. He knew this wasn't his moment anymore. Roman grabbed a mic. The roar from the crowd made it almost impossible to hear him at first. When the noise finally died down, his words cut like a blade. "Solo," Reigns growled, "you think this is your yard now? You think you're the head of the table? You forget who built this table." Solo's jaw tightened. He didn't back down. He never did. But even he knew that standing face to face with Roman Reigns, especially with Seth Rollins standing guard, was a different fight altogether. Rollins leaned into the mic, a dangerous grin spreading across his face. "Hey Uce, you remember us, right? We built empires on each other's blood. We broke this company down and rebuilt it with our fists. You think you're gonna take it from him? From me? Not tonight." Pearce, seizing the moment, stepped back in. "You know what? Maybe suspension isn't enough. Maybe it's time you get taught a lesson you'll never forget. Next week, Solo Sikoa, you will defend the United States Championship in a no disqualification match." Solo laughed darkly, raising the belt. "Against who?" Roman and Seth exchanged a glance that spoke 1,000 words. Seth stepped forward. "Against me." The crowd exploded again. Pearce nodded. "That's not all, Roman, I don't even know if you're officially cleared, but you sure look ready. If you're back, you're back. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns vs. Solo Sikoa. 1-on-1. You want to prove who the real tribal chief is? You'll get your chance." Solo's face twisted with rage. He lunged at Pearce, but Rollins intercepted him with a punch. The ring exploded into a brawl, fists flying, the crowd screaming. Seth and Solo traded blows like it was 2014 all over again. Roman speared Solo so hard the entire ring shook. Security stormed the ring, trying to pull them apart. Reigns backed into a corner, his eyes locked on Solo like a lion stalking prey. Rollins dusted off his hands, laughing like a man who'd been waiting years for this moment. Pearce shouted orders as officials dragged Solo up the ramp, still shouting curses at Roman and Seth. When the dust settled, Reigns and Rollins stood alone in the ring. They looked at each other, two battle-hardened brothers who'd burned the world together, torn each other apart, and now found themselves back in the same trench. Rollins grinned, clapping Roman on the shoulder. "You ready for a war again, big dog?" Roman didn't smile. He didn't have to. He just lifted his head, acknowledging the thousands chanting his name. "Always," he growled. And just like that, the landscape of WWE had changed. The head of the table was back, but this time, he wasn't alone. The Shield may be gone, but its brotherhood lived on. And for Solo Sikoa and the new bloodline, a storm was coming. A storm named Roman Reigns, and Seth freakin' Rollins.